In the middle of the Pacific Ocean, far from the world's busiest cities, there is an island that most people will never visit. In fact, many people have never even heard its name. A place with no rivers, no traffic lights, and fewer than 2,000 people. Yet this tiny island hides some of the Pacific Ocean's most extraordinary natural wonders. Towering coral cliffs rise dramatically above the sea. Crystal clear waters reveal hidden caves, underwater tunnels, and colorful coral reefs. Every year, humpback whales arrive only a short distance from the shore. Spinner dolphins race through the waves. Sea turtles glide silently beneath the surface. And when night falls, the sky transforms into one of the darkest and clearest star-filled skies on Earth. This is not Hawaii. It is not Fiji. It is not Bora Bora. This is Niue, one of the world's smallest self-governing nations. At first glance, Niue looks like the perfect tropical paradise. Peaceful villages, untouched forests, ancient coral cliffs, and an endless blue ocean stretching to the horizon. But beneath that peaceful beauty lies a remarkable story. A story that began millions of years ago beneath the Pacific Ocean. A story of fearless Polynesian navigators who crossed thousands of kilometers using only the stars to guide them. A story of European explorers, powerful cyclones, changing times, and a small community that refused to lose its identity. Today, around 1,700 people call Niue home. Although its population is tiny, its connection with nature is enormous. In this documentary, we'll explore hidden sea caves carved by the Pacific, discover why there are no rivers on the island, meet the whales that visit every winter, learn how one of the world's smallest nations protects one of its greatest natural treasures, and uncover why travelers who visit Niue often describe it as the Pacific's best-kept secret. Because sometimes, the smallest places leave the biggest memories. Welcome to Niue. After hours of flying across the Pacific Ocean, you begin to wonder if there is really anything out there. Looking through the aircraft window, all you can see is an endless expanse of blue. No cities, no ships, no other islands, just the largest ocean on Earth stretching beyond the horizon. Then, almost suddenly, a small white line appears in the distance. As the plane gets closer, that line transforms into towering coral cliffs surrounded by crystal clear turquoise water. This is Niue's first impression, and it is unlike anywhere else in the Pacific. Most tropical islands were formed by volcanoes, but Niue followed a different path. Millions of years ago, an underwater volcano created the foundation of the island. Over time, thick coral reefs grew around it. Later, powerful geological forces slowly lifted the coral reef above sea level, creating what is now one of the world's largest raised coral atolls. Today, Niue covers only about 261 square kilometers, yet its unique geological history makes it one of the most fascinating islands on Earth. Unlike many Pacific destinations famous for endless sandy beaches, Niue is surrounded by dramatic limestone and coral cliffs. Over millions of years, powerful waves carved arches, caves, tunnels, and hidden pools into the coastline. Some sea caves can only be reached by swimming through narrow openings, while others reveal breathtaking blue chambers where sunlight shines through cracks in the rocks, creating an almost magical glow beneath the water. One of the island's most remarkable features is something visitors rarely expect. Niue has no permanent rivers. Rainwater disappears through the porous coral limestone and flows into underground freshwater reservoirs. This natural system has supplied the island with clean water for generations and makes Niue one of the few countries in the world where the landscape works like a giant natural filter. The island is also covered by lush tropical forest. Coconut palms, banyan trees, dense vegetation, and coastal plants blanket much of the landscape. Hidden trails lead to dramatic viewpoints overlooking the Pacific, while quiet roads connect small villages scattered around the island. Driving around Niue takes little more than an hour, yet every corner reveals something different: a hidden cave, a natural swimming pool, a secluded bay, or a cliff where humpback whales can often be spotted during migration season. Perhaps that is what makes Niue so extraordinary. It is not an island filled with giant resorts or crowded tourist attractions. It is a place where nature still dominates every landscape, and where every kilometer tells a story shaped by millions of years of geological history. Before we explore its people and history, we must first understand that everything in Niue begins with the island itself. Long before European explorers sailed across the Pacific, Niue was already home to skilled Polynesian navigators. Historians believe the first settlers arrived around 1,000 years ago, traveling thousands of kilometers across the open ocean in wooden canoes. Without maps or compasses, they navigated using only the stars, ocean currents, winds, and the flight of birds. Their arrival marked the beginning of Niue's remarkable history. The island was traditionally divided into villages, each led by its own chiefs. Fishing, farming, and community life became the foundation of society. Taro, coconuts, bananas, and breadfruit provided food, while the surrounding ocean supplied fish and other marine resources. Life was simple but closely connected to nature. In 1774, the famous British explorer Captain James Cook reached Niue. However, unlike many Pacific islands, the local people refused to let him land. After several unsuccessful attempts, Cook left the island and named it Savage Island, mistakenly believing its people were hostile. Today, historians agree that the islanders were most likely protecting their home from unknown visitors rather than acting aggressively. During the 19th century, Christian missionaries arrived and gradually introduced Christianity, which became an important part of Niuean society. In 1901, Niue came under the administration of New Zealand, beginning a new chapter in its history. Today, Niue remains a self-governing country in free association with New Zealand, managing its own internal affairs while maintaining a close relationship with Wellington. Although its history is small in scale, Niue's story is one of resilience, identity, and a people who have preserved their culture despite centuries of change. Although Niue is one of the world's smallest countries, its political story is surprisingly unique. In 1974, Niue became a self-governing nation in free association with New Zealand. This means the island governs its own internal affairs while maintaining a close partnership with New Zealand. Today, Niue has its own prime minister, parliament, and government. At the same time, many Niueans are New Zealand citizens, allowing them to live, work, and study in New Zealand without restrictions. This special relationship has shaped modern Niue for decades. However, it has also created one of the country's biggest challenges. Over the years, many young people moved abroad for education and better job opportunities. As a result, Niue's population gradually declined, and today only around 1,700 people live permanently on the island. Interestingly, there are far more people of Niuean heritage living in New Zealand than in Niue itself. Despite its small population, the island has embraced modern technology. Niue was one of the first countries in the world to provide free nationwide Wi-Fi, proving that even the smallest nations can lead through innovation. Here, modern life and ancient traditions continue to exist side by side, creating a unique balance found in very few places on Earth. If history tells the story of Niue's people, then nature tells the story of the island itself. Unlike many tropical destinations filled with large hotels and crowded beaches, Niue has remained remarkably untouched. Nearly every corner of the island is shaped by the power of the Pacific Ocean. Towering coral cliffs surround the coastline, while hidden caves and natural pools wait just below them. One of the island's most famous places is Limu Pools, where crystal-clear turquoise water creates one of the most beautiful natural swimming spots in the Pacific. Nearby, places like Matapa Chasm and Talava Arches reveal spectacular rock formations carved by waves over millions of years. Further inland, dense tropical forests cover much of the island. Walking through these forests, you'll find ancient trees, limestone formations, and birds found only in this part of the Pacific. There are no dangerous predators, making it possible to explore many of Niue's trails in complete peace. Perhaps that is Niue's greatest treasure. Nature has remained in control. Instead of changing the island, the people of Niue have learned to live alongside it, protecting a landscape that has survived almost untouched for thousands of years. If Niue has a beating heart, it lies beneath the surface of the Pacific Ocean. Surrounded by some of the clearest waters on Earth, the island is home to an extraordinary marine ecosystem that has remained remarkably healthy thanks to its isolation and strong commitment to conservation. Every year, between July and October, one of the Pacific's most breathtaking natural events takes place. Humpback whales travel thousands of kilometers from the cold waters of Antarctica to the warm seas around Niue to give birth and care for their calves. Unlike many destinations where boats must travel far offshore, these giant mammals often swim surprisingly close to the island's cliffs, allowing visitors to witness them from both the sea and the land. Below the surface, an entirely different world comes to life. Colorful coral reefs provide shelter for hundreds of marine species. Green sea turtles glide effortlessly through the water, while spinner dolphins race alongside boats, often leaping high above the waves. Schools of tropical fish, octopuses, moray eels, and even reef sharks all play an important role in keeping this underwater ecosystem in balance. One of Niue's greatest treasures is the incredible clarity of its ocean. On calm days, underwater visibility can reach 80 meters or more, making it one of the world's finest destinations for snorkeling, scuba diving, and freediving. Swimming here feels less like entering the ocean and more like floating through glass. For the people of Niue, the ocean is far more than a beautiful landscape. It has provided food, transportation, and identity for generations. Protecting these waters is not simply an environmental goal. It is a promise to future generations that the island's greatest treasure will never be lost. While many islands are famous for their beaches, Niue is known for something completely different. Its coastline is a masterpiece carved by the Pacific Ocean over millions of years. Towering coral cliffs, hidden sea caves, natural arches, and crystal-clear pools make every part of the island feel like an unexplored world. Among Niue's most famous landmarks are the Talava Arches, where enormous coral rock formations rise above the crashing waves. Nearby, narrow pathways lead through tropical forest before opening onto breathtaking views of the endless Pacific. Standing here, it is easy to understand why Niue is considered one of the most untouched islands in the world. Another remarkable place is Avaki Cave, a beautiful natural pool surrounded by ancient coral walls. According to local tradition, this peaceful spot was once used by Niuean kings. Today, its calm turquoise water attracts visitors looking for one of the island's most unforgettable swimming experiences. As waves continue to shape the coastline day after day, Niue itself is constantly changing. Every cave, every cliff, and every natural arch tells a story written not by people, but by the power of the ocean over millions of years. Although Niue is one of the smallest countries in the world, its culture is rich, proud, and deeply connected to family and tradition. Life here moves at a slower pace than in most modern societies. People know their neighbors, children grow up surrounded by relatives, and the sense of community remains one of the island's greatest strengths. The official languages are Niuean and English, and both are spoken in everyday life. While English is widely used in schools, government, and business, the Niuean language continues to play an important role in preserving the island's identity. Elders work hard to pass their language, stories, and traditions on to younger generations. Family is at the center of Niuean society. Respect for parents, grandparents, and village elders is considered one of the most important values. Community gatherings, church events, and family celebrations bring people together throughout the year. Even though many Niueans now live in New Zealand, they often return to the island to reconnect with their roots and celebrate important cultural events. Christianity has shaped daily life for more than a century, and churches remain an important part of every village. Sundays are especially meaningful, as families gather for worship before sharing large traditional meals together. These gatherings are not only about food, they are about keeping relationships and traditions alive. Niuean cuisine reflects the island's close relationship with both the land and the sea. Fresh tuna, mahi-mahi, octopus, coconut, taro, bananas, and breadfruit are among the most common foods. Many traditional dishes are prepared using recipes that have been passed down through generations, preserving the flavors of the Pacific. Music and dance also play an important role in Niuean culture. During festivals, weddings, and national celebrations, traditional songs and rhythmic dances tell stories of the island's ancestors, the ocean, and everyday life. These performances are more than entertainment, they are a living connection between the past and the present. Perhaps that is what makes Niue truly special. Despite the influence of the modern world, the people have never forgotten who they are. On this small island in the middle of the Pacific, tradition is not something remembered only in history books, it is still part of everyday life. Unlike many countries, Niue's economy is not built on large industries, busy ports, or massive factories. Instead, its greatest resource has always been its natural beauty, peaceful lifestyle, and the deep connection between its people and the Pacific Ocean. Tourism has become one of the island's most important sources of income. But Niue has never tried to attract millions of visitors each year. Instead, it focuses on sustainable tourism, welcoming travelers who respect nature and local traditions. Visitors come to explore hidden sea caves, swim in crystal-clear waters, watch humpback whales, dive among colorful coral reefs, and experience one of the quietest islands in the Pacific. Fishing also remains an important part of daily life. Local fishermen continue to catch tuna, mahi-mahi, and other ocean species using both traditional knowledge and modern methods. Small-scale agriculture supports many families as well, with crops such as taro, vanilla, bananas, coconuts, and tropical fruits growing across the island. Because Niue is small and isolated, many everyday products, including fuel, vehicles, building materials, and packaged food, must be imported. This makes transportation expensive and means the island is heavily affected by global shipping costs and supply chains. Maintaining roads, electricity, healthcare, and communication for such a small population is also a constant challenge. Niue continues to receive financial support through its special partnership with New Zealand, helping improve education, healthcare, infrastructure, and public services. At the same time, the government is investing in renewable energy, digital technology, and environmental protection to build a more sustainable future. Perhaps the greatest challenge facing Niue today is climate change. Rising sea levels, stronger tropical cyclones, warming oceans, and coral bleaching all threaten the island's future. Although Niue contributes almost nothing to global carbon emissions, it is among the countries most vulnerable to the changing climate. Yet despite these challenges, Niue remains optimistic. With its breathtaking nature, strong community, and commitment to protecting its environment, this tiny island continues to show the world that a country's true strength is not measured by its size, but by how well it protects what matters most. As the sun slowly disappears beyond the endless Pacific Ocean, Niue begins to reveal a different kind of beauty. The golden light fades from the coral cliffs, the sound of the waves becomes the only voice along the coast, and the first stars appear above the island. Before long, the sky transforms into a breathtaking blanket of light. With almost no light pollution, the Milky Way stretches across the heavens, reminding everyone who stands here just how small we are in such a vast universe. At first glance, Niue may seem like just another tiny island in the middle of the Pacific. A country with fewer than 2,000 people. A place that many travelers have never even heard of. But Niue's story has never been about its size. It is a story written by the ocean over millions of years. A story of ancient coral rising from the sea, of fearless Polynesian navigators who crossed one of the largest oceans on Earth, and of a people who have protected their traditions while embracing the modern world. Here, nature is still in control. Humpback whales continue to return every year. Sea turtles still swim through crystal clear waters. Waves continue to shape the island's cliffs just as they have for countless generations. Life moves quietly, patiently, and in harmony with the rhythm of the Pacific. Yet, like many island nations, Niue faces an uncertain future. Climate change, rising sea levels, and the migration of young people remain some of its greatest challenges. But despite these obstacles, the people of Niue continue to look forward with hope. They understand that protecting their island today means protecting it for the generations that will come tomorrow. Perhaps that is Niue's greatest lesson. In a world that is constantly growing louder, faster, and more crowded, this tiny island reminds us that true wealth is not measured by population, skyscrapers, or economic power. It is measured by clean oceans, unspoiled forests, strong communities, and the ability to live in balance with nature. When you finally leave Niue, you may remember the turquoise water, the hidden sea caves, the towering coral cliffs, or the unforgettable sight of a humpback whale rising from the Pacific. But long after those memories fade, one feeling remains. The feeling that somewhere in the middle of the world's largest ocean, there is still a place where nature leads, where time slows down, and where people have never forgotten who they are. Perhaps that is why Niue is far more than a destination. It is a reminder that even the smallest places can leave the biggest mark on our hearts. Thank you for watching.